Innovations from the Roman era. Well, the title could make us picture pottery, artwork, and other things, but we're here to tell you that's not true. Even now, the original Roman innovations are still in use. You guys might be thinking, are you sure about that? Yes, Roman inventions like sewage networks, underfloor heating, and cement constructions constitute the foundation of modern technology as we know it today. Don't trust us? Then I suppose we'll have to present it to you. The top 10 ancient Roman inventions. Let's start with number 10, shall we? Alright, number 10, the Codex, or simply the first bound book. When we talk about the first real and practically bound book, things might not sound much cool. But think about it, you are around the 3rd century BCE, and at that time your buddies just started writing on parchment, which was basically made using the skins of animals. Then the next day, you see a guy just made carrying your homework practical, he just started binding it together. Technically, simply said, a codex is a book with pages that are often bound on the left. The scroll or book roll, which was unrolled as you read, was its forerunner. The codex is clearly superior since it can carry many volumes, has a built-in cover for protection, and has numbered pages for easy reference. Cool, right? It is astonishing how late in antiquity the codex became popular, but the early Christians embraced the codex with unusual fervor. This form's more widespread use appears to have coincided with the growth of Christianity. With each fresh fragment discovered in the Egyptian sands, it has become clear that almost all ancient Christian books were codices. The codex was probably not invented by Christians, but historians have found that the Roman world gave the ability to utilize it widely. Number 9, the roads. I mean, these roads can literally fight time. I mean it. In the Roman Empire, roads were an important component of transportation. In addition to the streets constructed within Roman towns, the Roman military constructed several significant major roads, beginning with the Appian Way, which was constructed in 312 BCE under the Roman Republic. The paved Appian Way connected Rome to Capua and subsequently Brindisi. It was named after Censor Appius Claudius Casus. Quite a name, right? Other roads constructed by the Roman soldiers include the Via Aurelia, Via Flaminia, and Via Aemilia. Soldiers built Roman roadways linked the capital city of Rome to several other strategically significant towns around the empire, including those that the Roman military had attacked and occupied in Africa, Asia, and Europe. So all roads lead to Rome is a phrase that originates from this. Number 8, concrete. Not something unusual, well, it's something that helped the growth of humanity all this time. Roman concrete is also referred to as opus caementicium, or simply a work of concrete if you want to keep it simple. It was a significant advance in building technology that made it possible to create some of the Roman Empire's most famous structures. Roman concrete's lightweight and water resistance made it possible to create roads, arches, aqueducts, and building domes. These developments made it possible for the Concrete Revolution, an era of buildings that saw the creation of some of the empire's most crucial infrastructural components, as well as monuments like the Pantheon. Roman concrete was made of pozzolanic ash, which is volcanic ash that is resistant to cracking, which gives it stability and longevity. The volcanic ash produces a ready-to-pour material that is strong, affordable, and made of tiny stones, lime, and water. So yeah, that's it. Moving on to number 7, the first surgical tools. This was a fact not much known by many. The establishment of public health facilities was pushed by the Romans across the empire. Their medical practices evolved in response to combat requirements and Greek teachings. Roman medical professionals gained the majority of their hands-on training in combat. They carried a tool set with forceps, scalpels, catheters, and arrow extractors in it. Before utilizing it, they used to disinfect their equipment in boiling water. Opium and scopolamine were used in surgical treatments by the Romans, who also used acid vinegar to clean wounds and scopolamine to reduce pain. Although they lacked powerful anesthetics for difficult surgical procedures, it is unclear that they performed operations deep within the body. Or did they? Number 6, aqueducts. The people of Rome were a bunch of really thirsty guys at that time, so the city was embellished with majestic fountains and verdant gardens. Its residents received flowing water supplied to their houses, hot public baths, and sewage removal services. Large volumes of water were consumed by Rome's burgeoning industries to run equipment and produce items for the city, which at its height had a population of between 500,000 and 1 million. That's something, right? Without the 11 Roman aqueducts that brought water from the surrounding countryside to the capital, none of this would have been feasible. The Roman aqueducts were the pinnacle of ancient civilization's technological advancements. The first aqueduct in Rome was constructed in 312 BC, and many more were added during the next 5 centuries. Number 5. The hypocaust system. Didn't get that, I suppose? It is simply just a form of heating method. The hypocaust heating method resembled radiant floor heating or central heating in current times. These devices spread heat from an underground fire throughout a room that was below a floor that was supported by a number of concrete pillars. Roman architects also added flues to the walls, guaranteeing that heat would have a way to warm upper levels and finally escape via the roof. At the time, the consequences of subpar construction included carbon monoxide poisoning, smoke inhalation, and fire threats. Therefore, this was a remarkable achievement of engineering. It's crucial to remember that these pricey systems were often exclusively employed in grand mansions owned by affluent Romans, public buildings, and the thermae, or Roman baths, which had heated floors and walls. Number 4. Arches. Roman extensively used arches to build large structures. A key component of Rome's architecture is the Roman arch. A key component of constructed environments is an arch. This architectural element creates free space while compressing weight downward and outward. The arch's first iteration, with a semicircular top, was the Roman arch. The triumphal arch, which was built for ceremonial purposes such as commemorating military triumphs or the building of a bridge, is one of the most significant types of Roman arch in terms of culture. Roman arches can hold far more weight than a beam because of the pressure on each stone. If the columns or buttresses of the arch, which are the straight sides, are not sturdy enough, this weight might damage the top of the arch. The speed and complex quality of the Roman Empire's buildings of hundreds of structures demonstrate its strength, power, and ubiquity. One element that contributed to the formation of the Roman people's identity was their use of architecture. This fashion was employed by many civilizations to convey the same assurance and authority as the Roman Empire did. Number 3. Modern plumbing and sanitary management. Something very useful and extraordinary at those times. We now consider modern plumbing to be ordinary, but in our culture, we never really grasped its brilliance. The Romans were aware of this, and they were the early adopters in this field. They were also very interested in creating the greatest plumbing system. Rome had an extremely urbanized culture. Large crowds of people congregating in a compact space might cause hygienic and health issues. The Romans, who were very practical people, started to understand the value of plumbing and set the stage for contemporary sanitation and plumbing systems. Despite not having invented plumbing, the Romans did make significant breakthroughs in the industry. The Romans were aware that flowing water was necessary to supply clean water for drinking and to maintain the great metropolis of Rome. Number 2. The earliest form of a newspaper. Julius Caesar established the first and only newspaper in the ancient world in 59 BCE. Acta Diurna, or simply Events of the Day, was its name. Sadly, no copy has been saved to date, and we are unsure of how widely it was distributed. The details were very comparable to those found in modern newspapers. They included news on Senate debates, populist gatherings, court cases, executions, news about the Marines and the military, and even marriages, births, and obituaries. The Romans may learn about the outcomes of chariot or gladiator races in Circus Maximus under the sports section. The newspaper was accessible for around 400 years, or until 330 CE. You wish you could see some pages of what it would have looked like, right? Yep, me too. Finally, number 1, the Roman numerals. The majority of Europeans employed the Roman number system for approximately 1800 years, a period much longer than the present Hindu-Arabic system has been in use. In ancient Rome, they were employed to write numerals out, and they are still widely used today. Really ancient buildings sometimes have Roman numbers gracing the brickwork above the entryway, indicating the year the structure was built. Although they are most frequently encountered on clock faces, such as the Big Ben clock in London, which was built in 1852 and still uses Roman numerals for the numbers 1 through 12. Cool, right? Alright, now we went through 10 cool innovations from Rome. What do you guys think? Impressive or not so impressive? The height of ancient Rome was almost 2,000 years ago, but today you can still see traces of what was once the largest and most powerful empire in antiquity all throughout Europe, North Africa, and the Middle East. Well, you could relate all these advancements in their tech to their power at that time, right? Okay, now coming to the end of today's episode, did you guys love today's episode? Do you wish to see more of these videos on your feed? Then make sure to follow us, subscribe to our channel, and turn on the notifications to enjoy the most exciting content.